Realty Ninja is celebrating our 15-year anniversary, and today we're trying something new. I'm Roxanne, the design manager, and I'll be asking co-founders Raman and Cass about how this all started, their view on how the journey has gone as the real estate market has changed throughout the years, and we also have some exciting promotions to share with our amazing Realty Ninja customers. If you're new to Realty Ninja, hi. We make awesome websites for busy real estate agents. 15 years ago, we created this platform to help agents have an online presence they love that's easy to update and offers all of the important listing data functionality unique to this industry. Let's meet the two that made this all possible, Kester Lober and Raman Sabur.
Hey, how's it going? My name is Raman Sabur. I'm the co-founder of Realty Ninja. I'm joined by.
Hey, I'm Cass, also the co-founder of Realty Ninja. Thanks for putting this together, Roxanne. This is really exciting.
Very few people, I think, have really heard the full story, or at least your guys' parts of how this company came to be. So do you want to go back to the beginning and kind of talk about how the idea of Realty Ninja came about?
So Cass and I actually met back in high school at a local martial arts studio. I think I was 18 and he was 16, and our instructor was a real estate agent. And he asked us if we could build him a website because he knew that I had a background in design. At the time, it was more graphic design. And Cass was one of those hacker kids, know it all computer guys. And he was like, "Can you two work together and build me a website?" Cass and I had never built a website before, but we said, "Of course, definitely we can." And so my mom would drive me to his house, and we would sit on the edge of his bed and take turns on the computer, the one big computer with the giant CRT monitor. And I would design the site, and then I would switch chairs with Cass, and then he would program the site. And so this is quite a while ago.
And I had a book like this thick on the programming language we were using at the time. It was a Perl book. And I would sit there furiously flipping through this book on the edge of his bed or my bed or whoever's house we were at while we were swapping, taking turns, trying to figure out how to make all this stuff work. And this was like way back before it was easy to learn how to make websites online. Like we were putting this all together from scratch.
Yeah, we kind of just cobbled this website together and it looked pretty good. At the time, there was, like Cass said, not a lot of options for building websites. And so we put our name at the bottom. It was like website by Cass and Remen at hotmail.com or something like that. And we got a little bit of cash under the table and probably bought some candy with it or something and kind of forgot about it until we started getting emails. And I was at the age where I was ready to, get my first real job. Future Shop was a local computer shop at the time, which is now Best Buy. And so I had just started working at Future Shop selling laptops, and I was like, this sucks. I can't do this. And Cass and I were just getting emails from other real estate agents being like, I love what you did for that guy. Can you build me a website? And so I called him up and I was like, man, I don't think I'm cut out for the corporate world. And we're getting a bunch of inquiries about websites. Do you want to build something together?
Heck yeah. And I think I was too young to be in a company in British Columbia at the time. And so I think for the first year or 6 months or something like that, Raman ran the company as a sole proprietorship. And then as soon as I turned 16 or 17 or whatever it was, we started a partnership. And the name we came up with was Base 10 Design and Development. And while we started with real estate websites, we branched out into everything. We didn't have any idea about Realty Ninja yet. We just wanted to make money. And so we were doing sports sites, like we did Trevor Linden's site, fashion sites, restaurants, you name it. And, we got a little office, hired our first employee, and we're doing the grind. And then we realized that we just recreated a job. We were in this sweaty little office, coming to work 5, 6 days a week, working 8 to 12 hours a day. And we were like, this isn't why we started this sort of company. And we were using these services at the time where software as a service hadn't even really been coined yet. But we were using like MailChimp and Basecamp and FreshBooks that were pay as you go. And we were listening to these podcasts like the Tropical MBA and reading a 4 Hour Work Week. And we were trying to figure out, okay, how can we do what these people have done to their businesses to our agency business? Keep in mind, we were doing like one website in 6 months, and it was like tens of thousands of dollars, and it was just a nightmare to manage. And then we kind of looked at our business and looked at all the different websites and the different markets we were in and the tools that we built. and we came across real estate. We'd made a bunch of websites. We were kind of known. We'd already built some very early integrations with the Vancouver Real Estate Board. We had built some things with Google Maps, where this was like their API was in beta at the time. We were really kind of forging ground there. And so we chose real estate as kind of the niche to build this pay-as-you-go subscription-based platform instead of this 50% upfront, smash your head into a computer for 6 months and hope everything goes smooth, and that you get the next one partway through that one. And so, yeah, that's kind of
And
where that came
also,
from.
we looked at what was out there in terms of platforms, website platform for real estate, and we noticed that it was either you could go with a super rigid template where, your name and headshot would be different, or you could pick a couple of fonts and colors, or you'd go with like a $20,000, $50,000 custom website. And there was nothing in the middle. And so we saw an opportunity and said, why don't we build a platform that doesn't have the rigidness of these templated systems, but also has the design, like quality and interface of these really high-end custom sites? How about we try to bring that down to an affordable price so the average realtor could get a really good looking website without having to spend all the money or take 6 months in development? And so that's kind of what spurred Realty Ninja.
And at the time, we were still running Base 10. And when you start a new business, that business doesn't make money, it costs money. And so I think I moved back in with my dad. Raman moved back in with his parents. We skipped like 20 paychecks or something like that. And we had to build Realty Ninja up while Base 10 was still paying the bills without shooting ourselves in the foot with Base 10. And so it probably took, I think, 2 years, maybe a year and a half. And right in the middle of that, something else really important happened. Our employee at the time, we were living in Vancouver, all in North Vancouver on Lower Lonsdale, down on Esplanade, where there's now, I think, a brewery and a cannabis dispensary where our old office used to be.
Of course.
Our one employee, Thorsten, moved to Vancouver Island because he had a family, he had a couple kids, it was more affordable, and so he moved. And it kind of forced us to go remote. Whereas at first, Raman and I were going to this little office, just the two of us, and there was some echoes of kind of digital nomadism. Remote work was just kind of starting. Digital nomad, that wasn't even a name yet. And so we went remote. We got rid of the office and started working from home and working from cafes. And so that really laid one of the foundational pieces to the DNA of Realty Ninja, which is we've been fully remote almost from day one. And we didn't have to transition to it. That's kind of in our DNA. That's where we came from. So that has really shaped our company as a whole. We have team members all across the world, and we're able to all work on one platform, and it's fantastic.
So it's been 15 years since this company was born. How would you say that we've evolved since that time when you guys were just young nerds figuring things out and trying to get it off the ground?
Yeah, I would love to answer this. So, what we try to do is think about the end user. So, in this case, it's the home buyer or home seller. And how has their role and have their position evolved over time? And so we try to match that. And just as a side effect, we end up making our customers happy, the real estate agent. And so if we think about their client, originally, back when we started the company, and so at that time, just having a website for an individual realtor was kind of all you needed in terms of like getting your name out there, generating leads, and growing your online business. Over time, things like social media and the MLS systems and just better data access has empowered the home buyer and seller so that they're further along the journey where they would come in and actually access a realtor's website. And so they might use the realtor's website as a tool to narrow down their search to one or two properties that they're interested in buying before they reach out to the realtor. And in the past, it used to just be, the first action they would take is call the realtor. Now, our business model has evolved where we're trying to empower that process. So the buyer has better tools to inform themselves and do their research. And then when they are ready to reach out, we make sure the realtor is there, accessible, the design is really beautiful, and all of that information is there for them. And then on the selling side, it used to be that a realtor would just say that they are an expert in a neighborhood or a property type, But over time, they're looking for validation of that claim. And so the website provides, a map of all their sold listings, their marketing plan. It embeds the virtual tours and the Matterport, the 3D scans, and everything else that backs up the claim that they are expert marketers, that they're going to do everything they can to sell your property. And so it's just become a more pivotal piece of their marketing stack. It used to be this kind of peripheral thing where they would get 99% of their business from events or their referrals or just their existing relationships. And then their website was kind of a glorified business card. And some realtors still see that as the role of their website, but the ones that are using it as a tool definitely get more value from it. And so that's how we've adapted on our end.
Definitely.
Point.
Is it you used to be
Yeah.
special if you just had a website? It didn't matter what kind or how it worked or how it looked. It was that was like the feather in the cap. But now websites, I don't want to say so much they become a commodity, but they almost have. Everybody has a website, and so to stand apart, you need to have a very effective website these days. You can't just have a website, it needs to be a good website. And so we've been doubling down on that. Obviously, we offer websites for real estate agents and trying to focus on that website being more the chessboard as opposed to the chess piece on a board. Because if you think about it, these days, all marketing kind of gets directed at a website, whether you're doing ad campaigns, whether you're even doing print campaigns, whether you're meeting people, you're handing out business cards, everybody's getting funneled back to that website. And so we're trying to focus on it being able to have that pivotal place in the marketing plan and keeping up with the changes in the industry, whether they're technological, like AI is currently right now. There have been a bunch of different technological milestones over the last 15 years that we've had to adapt to ensure that our products and our customers are able to stay at the front of the curve. And those are everything from, mobile responsive first design. Like when we first started Realty Ninja, especially Base 10 before that, mobile design wasn't even a thing. We were playing Snake on our Nokia phones when we first built our first real estate website. And so that was a huge thing to adapt to, just like AI is coming around the corner. And one of our key tenants, and we've been saying since day one as part of our spiel, is let us focus on that technology and you guys focus on real estate. That is honestly gotten more and more difficult for us because of the rate of change, but that's our job and we're happy to do it.
Can you share any pivotal moments that you could think of or challenges in those terms that shaped the company?
I think
Mm.
for me, on the technology side, I think building Katana was a pivotal moment for the company. For those of you,
Have to
yeah,
agree.
for those of you that don't know, Katana is a component-based website builder. So think of it as like Lego blocks. We call them widgets that you can mix and match, and they have options and layouts and all this kind of stuff that you can kind of build your dream site using these pre-built components. And before that, we were still in the rigid template realm, even though we did it quite nicely and there was many options there. You didn't have the flexibility that you would with a custom site. And so with something like Katana, you're able to kind of build anything. And that was a huge unlock in terms of the product. In terms of our company, I think the team retreat was a big one because we are a global team and we've been remote, like Cass said, for over a decade. And working with somebody in person, it just cannot ever be replaced. And so, actually, at the team retreat, we met some people that had been working with us for over 5 years, and it was our first time meeting them in person, even though we spent 8 hours a day with them online, on Zoom, on Slack. And so that was really cool just to interact with people, spend a week together, and really get to know each other. I've definitely noticed a difference in the team culture since then.
Definitely took it out of my mouth. I was going to say the same thing.
So, kind of pivoting from technology, it is hard to believe how long ago 2010 was. Technology has changed a lot, as we touched on, but so has the real estate market. How would you say that area has affected what we do?
I think that it comes back to proving that you're the expert. What I mean by that is demonstrating it, not just saying it. So in the past, you drive down the street in your local neighborhood and you would see a bus bench ad that said, I'm the number one realtor in this area. Or you would see a bold claim about their expertise, about their specialty. And you just kind of have to take them at face value. And so now, over time, especially now, people want to see multiple factors of authentication to justify the claims that a professional or a business is making. And so for a realtor, if they say, I'm the number one realtor, they want proof of that. If you say that you're going to work hard to sell the properties because you have a big network of buyers, but you only have 200 people following you on social media, that's public, that's verifiable. And so now what's happening is the website, social media, email marketing, everything else, all the ads, landing pages is all part of one big ecosystem. And it's telling a story of how you do business as a real estate agent. And so if you meet somebody at an event and you're telling them how you're the number one realtor, and then they look you up and they can't even find your website, or worse, you just have a little headshot on the brokerage website. Maybe you're showing up on realtor.ca or REW or some other marketplace. Those two stories don't align. And so that's really easy to spot now. In the past, you could kind of fake it. And so now it's just like I can Google you, man, and I can see your website. You have two sold listings. You've been in business for 18 years. You're not an expert, you know? And so it's just so much easier now to empower the end user. And that's our whole business model is like, how can we serve the home buyer, home seller, and as a byproduct, serve our customers?
So I guess we can go to Cass for the next question. In order for us to adapt to how that works, what changes to our platform as the head developer would you call out as the biggest or the most exciting?
Biggest or the most exciting to our platform? You know, Raman already talked about Katana, which was pretty huge for sure. What a lot of people don't get insight into is the back end of things. That includes everything from the servers that we're on to the content delivery networks that serve all our images to the technology that we use to interface with all the real estate boards and import all those listings. And so I would say one of the biggest changes that we've made behind the scenes would be migrating from our own on-premise computers and servers to AWS, which is Amazon's cloud. And as part of that migration, we kind of rejigged how the various different components of Realty Ninja, some of those I just mentioned, and some other things such as the system that sends the emails out, to the system that monitors the servers and lets us know when there's an issue, to the system that creates the SSL certificates that secure the websites. All of those systems have been replumbed and optimized and replaced as we migrated over to this new cloud-based architecture. And that is difficult to quantify because it's lots of small little tweaks and little improvements. Some of them won't even be noticed on their own, but as a sum, it really makes for part of the Realty Ninja experience, which is our websites are fast, our websites are secure, and they have incredible uptime. So I would say that's probably one of the most exciting changes to our platform, and something that a lot of people don't get a lot of insight into is that framework and structure that powers Realty Ninja. And so, yeah,
There's a lot that goes on behind the scenes that aren't
a
just feature
lot.
developments or things that we push to the updates channel and things like that.
Exactly, exactly.
So I have some more rapid fire style questions for you guys next. Ready?
Let's do it.
Okay. What feature are you most proud of creating? Raman?
If we're talking about individual feature, there's a really small one that we're just launching right now, which is on the front end, you can access widget controls and move widgets up or down, access their options and delete them. Super simple, like a little tiny thing. It should have been there years ago, and just having it now just makes life so much easier when you're editing your pages
So
and
good.
stuff. So I'm really happy about that one.
Amazing. Cass?
Oh, it's funny because I didn't even create this feature. Gabriel, our incredible developer, did. And it's our 301 redirect tool. And I just really love how easy it is to use and how slick it is. And that's so that if you need to redirect one URL to another URL when you do a migration or something like that, it ensures that the search engine optimization and the page rank is kind of transferred with a proper redirect. But it's just really slick. You're able to paste in data from outside and it formats it properly. When you hit space, it creates a little arrow. It's really nice. But again, I didn't create it. I just really like it.
How do you decide what features to add next?
I can help answer this one. So we listen to our customers and we say no to everything else. As a founder, if there's other founders listening and you want to start a business, my two only recommendations as a business owner is don't get distracted because you will have opportunities to get off course. And two is listen to your customers. That's really all it takes, and we're not smarter than other tech founders. We're not particularly good at anything, in my opinion. I think we're pretty good at most things, but our superpower is our ability to not get distracted and also just listen to our customers. Customers will tell you what they need if you're just willing to listen, if you're willing to read their emails, if you're willing to look at how they interact with the software. The answers are embedded there. And so, yeah, that's my 2 cents.
Cass, you want to add on to that?
What we usually do is we sacrifice a crow and we start a fire. No, honestly, what we do is part of it is definitely listening to customers, but it's a lot harder than it sounds, especially when you have lots of customers. Because it's easy to effectively listen to a couple voices, but it's difficult to effectively listen to hundreds or thousands of voices. And so, yes, we need to listen to what the customers say, but then we also have to trust our gut and our intuition because that's what's gotten us this far. And so we need to be able to take all these voices or votes for different things in the app, and we need to be able to figure out which ones to implement because we are a relatively small team, especially our dev team. So we can only really do a certain number of things at once. Really, you can only do one thing at once. And that is actually one of the ways that Raman and I used to and still do project management is we have a do me now and a do me later list. That do me later list is huge. It's got like 1,000 items in it, including the different requests from the various different customers. But the do me now list can only have a handful of things on it. And so I think that's where that superpower comes in, is figuring out what to take from the do me later list and put it in the do me now list. And so I don't know if I can truly answer that question because there isn't one way, or we don't have a, let's put a bunch of post-it notes on a wall and put votes on them. Like we've tried all that sort of stuff. We just kind of throw it all at the wall, see what sticks, talk about it, weigh the pros and cons, and then choose a couple to bump over the do me now list and go. And then when those are done, we do it again. And we try not to get distracted.
Raman and Cass have come from these nerdy high school boys to growing beautiful families and
Nerdy
living their
man.
dream lives. What would you each say to the Cass and Raman from 15 years ago after all of the experiences that you've had?
The most frustrating piece of advice ever, which is a piece of advice that Random and I have continued to get every time we ever talk to anybody, business advisor, mentor, online courses, books, which is just keep doing what you're doing. Just trust it, trust the process. Just keep doing it. Don't do anything differently. Just do it. That's what I'd say to myself because that's all you really got to do.
Yeah, I have to agree. Super simple. It's, yeah, don't get distracted. Just have faith in the process and just get up every day and work on it a little bit and then go to bed. And then the next day, get up and work on it a little bit. Whether you're tired or sick or you don't feel like it or some new trend comes along or some distraction, doesn't matter. Do it anyways. You know, do it tired, do it sick.
What is the number one thing you hope that our customers could say about Realty Ninja?
Well, okay, I can answer this one. I want them to say that it was easy. And the reason I say that word is because I've witnessed a lot of people struggle with technology. And I've always been like the resident tech guy in my family, tech support, right? Like most nerds. Um, and seeing people struggle with technology sucks because there's a lot of benefits to that technology that they're not able to take advantage of. And coming into an industry where the average age is not 25, these people are coming at it from a place of fear often because it's like this scary thing that, I'm about to endeavor on a technological project of building out a website. I know nothing about programming. Am I going to learn how to code? Like, I don't want to deal with this. I didn't get into real estate to learn this stuff. And so that's our whole business model is like we're not just trying to replicate software. We're trying to build the whole process out, thinking about how do we make it easy? How is the setup easy, the onboarding, the launch process? How is it easy to get a hold of us, easy to get a design? Easy, easy, easy. It's just built into the DNA.
Yeah, I would agree. And I think that kind of leads into what I would like to say, and that's just the whole experience of dealing with Realty Ninja. That's one thing that we focus on a lot, and I would say our main differentiating factor. It's not our designs, it's not even our technology, it's the experience you have as a whole of dealing with Realty Ninja, whether that's with our support or setting up a website on your own, getting our team to set it up for you, filling out our forms, dealing with the front ends of our website. We just want that to be a positive experience so that, like Raman mentioned, you don't have that sour taste in your mouth after you logged in to update the photos on your listing or something, or to try and get in touch with our support because you need to change the credit card on your invoice. Something simple that shouldn't be difficult. We want that to be simple and not difficult. And so I would say that's what I'd love our customers to say as wow, what a great experience. And oh my God, I got so many leads and now I'm rich because I got a Realty Ninja website. That one too.
Can edit that part out.
That'd be great.
No.
I am biased, but I cannot say that I have ever enjoyed doing anything on WordPress. So yeah,
Yeah,
I
for
have to agree
sure.
with Cass there.
And we did a lot of WordPress work before Realty Ninja. And so that may have been like a serious motivator was for it just not to be WordPress.
Okay, last question. This was a surprise that I kind of recently thought of, but do you want to explain why we use all Japanese names for everything?
Oh, that's a great question. I think that we should probably tell why Realty Ninja is called Realty Ninja. I think we alluded to it a little bit, but Raman and I met kickboxing. And so we actually got our black belts together. We did kickboxing, we did karate, we've sparred together, we've made each other bleed. We also were geeks at that time. So you better believe that we had Bruce Lee and Chuck Norris as our idols, and we're just into anything that had anything to do with kung fu or karate or judo or kickboxing, you name it. And so it kind of made sense to go with Realty Ninja. We were using, programs called MailChimp. And so that you're like, oh, Realty Ninja, let's do that. And then from there, it just was natural. Like, what should we name our designs? We thought about it for a little bit and we went with that. Raman, was there a
Yeah,
secret reason I wasn't
no,
aware?
honestly, that's pretty much it. Like, I'd love to give you some kind of like super in-depth answer, but yeah, I just really liked Ninja Turtles growing up. Like, I'm still a big,
Yeah, for sure.
I'm still a big kid.
Exactly.
I know we all get to tell people that we work for Realty
Yeah,
Ninja when somebody
exactly.
asks.
And obviously, the origin of ninjas dates back to Japan. We do have like a love for Japan. I have yet to go, but a lot of our team has gone, and yeah, it's just a beautiful, beautiful country.
Okay, so I've got
Okay,
a surprise question for you, Roxanne. How has it been working at Realty Ninja?
I wouldn't want to work anywhere else, honestly. I mean, from being remote first just fits my entire lifestyle to the incredible evolution, like personal evolution that I've been able to have with the company. I mean, it's been 11 years since I unofficially started working with the company. So almost, pretty close to
Yeah.
15. But I was right out of college. I think we've all just really grown as people and in this career, in this industry. So just having the opportunity you guys gave me was life changing. So,
Love it.
And I would
yeah.
agree, honestly, because that's one thing we didn't touch on is how incredible our team is. Being able to work with people from all over the world, such a diverse team, different skill sets, different worldviews. It's just fantastic. And you've been a huge part of that for many, many years. And we're grateful to have you on the team. We really appreciate you putting together this.
All for the fans, right? Okay. What is next for Realty Ninja? Big question.
That's a good
What can
question.
we say?
I
What
think,
can we say?
honestly, this might be boring, but
We're gonna
more of the same. Like, in the
we're
sense,
gonna keep doing what we're
yeah,
doing.
like in the
Don't get
sense that we're
distracted.
not going to take our eye off the ball. It's like at the end of the
Yeah.
day, our job is to be responsive to the needs of the market, which is our customers and their customers, right? And so if the home buyer and home seller, if their needs evolve, we need to have our finger on that pulse
Hmm.
and jump on it, right? And so hopefully that's what we're known for, and that's what we'll continue to do. Our commitment is to making our clients happy and successful. And as a byproduct, our customers are happy and successful. And so more of that.
Yes, I agree. The future holds us getting up every morning, coming to work, and working on Realty Ninja, making it better, fixing bugs, building new features, creating new designs, listening to more customers, and just doing the same thing we've been doing for 15 years, which is just chipping away a little bit at a time as we go and adapting to change, making sure that we see what's happening on the horizon, what other changes are happening on the internet, what other ways of viewing content are coming. Mobile is huge. Are we all going to go to VR or AR? Who knows? Same thing goes with AI. You better believe that every day we've got our finger on the pulse of that. We're seeing where it's going, and to be honest, nobody knows where it's going, but we're going to make sure that you know when it's important to know.
Who wants to announce, or I guess bring up again, our 15th anniversary deals for anyone who doesn't know the game?
Okay, I'll do it. Okay, so Realty Ninja just turned 15 years old. To celebrate, we're giving 15% off all our design services. If you head over to our website, click services, and then website design, you'll see we have semi-customized designs, fully customized, and limited edition designs with a brand new one called Mugen, which is absolutely beautiful. We'll put up a couple screenshots here as well, and then we'll link to it in the description below. But yeah, it's all 15% off until July 1st, so till the end of the month.
Do you want to give a final thank you to our customers and the people watching this video?
I would like to thank everyone, our customers. Honestly, we wouldn't have been able to make it 15 years without you guys. Our team goes without saying. Raman, I'd like to thank you because I think that's our other superpower. Honestly, when so many people are starting in business and they ask, "Oh, what's the secret to success?" It's like find a business partner who's your perfect match, who you never argue with, who you can always come to a conclusion, even if one of you feels stronger, and then you're successful.
Thanks, man. I feel the exact same. I think it comes down to trust. I trust your judgment, especially for things like anything technological related. If you say, we need to use this tech for that thing, it's like, yeah, of course. Cass said it. Of course. I just want to thank our customers. Like Cass said, we wouldn't be here without you guys. And our promise to you is to just keep listening to your needs, keep listening to the market, keep listening to your clients' needs, and to just stay quick and nimble like ninjas and adapt to these changes as they come. Whether it's AI or mobile or SSL or anything else that will affect technology and the internet, we will have our finger on the pulse, and it's our job to worry about it so that you can focus on real estate.
Very nice. Well, thank you so much for watching this interview with our co-founders. You can learn more about the promotions that we've put out over at our blog called The Dojo at realtyninja.com/blog. That's 15% off of all of our design services until July 1st. 2025. You also can check us out on social media. We have Facebook and Instagram. So I'll be posting a lot over there the next couple weeks. So come comment and give us a like if you can. All right. Thank you.